Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I hope everybody's having a great day. Let me get all this stuff set up here. You saw my tweet. You know, I haven't slept. But what does that matter? It's time to stream. So we gonna do this thing. Even though I ain't slept. The game loaded up here. I think I got everything harvested last time. And I think that's kind of where I quit. I got the straw. But I couldn't store it in the silo that I have. So where can I sell it? Where's going to be the best place to sell it? I'll just sell it. Okay. Same place, I reckon. Okay. Same place I sold everything else. I reckon I'm going to end up having to sell the silo and get a different one, which, like I say, I was planning on probably replacing all this shit anyway. Probably the only thing I'll leave is those things. And I think I was planning on replanting with soybeans, if I'm not mistaken. Which I was, I've mentioned before when playing SnowRunner, how much I'd really like to build a replica of the Ford F-750 that's in that game. I was just watching some YouTube vids this morning, and I happened across a video where somebody has an F-750, and that's not like the one in the game, but they had a F-750 with the pickup bed on it and the dually fenders on the bed. So it's similar to the truck in the game, but not exact, because it was a regular cab, and it had tractor trailer axles swapped out and under it, and on the back, instead of dualies, it had the wider tires like you see on some dump trucks and stuff. I started watching the video on it, but I didn't watch the whole thing yet. I ain't gonna get a lot out of the straw, but starting out every little bit helps. And if I remember right, I said my goal on this one was to get cows. Which this straw would come in handy for, but since that silo won't hold it. I mean, I might could go ahead and sell that silo and get a different one that would hold it, but kind of want to wait on that a little bit, because if I do it right now, I might end up putting it in a spot that might get in the way later or something. Because I don't really have any kind of plan yet as to how I want to lay things out eventually when I go to upgrade and everything. So I'll refrain from doing so for right now. See, that's $2,887 I didn't have before. And you never know, that might come in handy at some point. I don't know. Man, this is slow going in this tractor. Oh yeah, I forgot I can use cruise control on here. So I'll do that since it's a long drive. I don't know, when I get back I'll look, see how much I can get out of the silo, because I don't think there's actually anything in it. Let me check real quick. Oh, there is a little bit of oat and a little bit of sorghum that I had left over. Which if I sell the silo, it'll automatically sell that. That tends to work. And I'm probably fixing to run into a fence. Yep. Because just because I'm in the menus don't mean the tractor's going to stop moving. When I got cruise control on. I wanted to get that tree devour thing in the trailer for that too. But I'm thinking maybe if I'm lucky, I could get enough out of the silo and what little bit's in it and get a cheaper multi-fruit silo. Get a little bit of extra money instead of setting myself back on getting a tree devourer and the trailer. Because I'm thinking the tree devourer thing was what, 125,000, I think. And the trailer I'm wanting to say was 58,000. How the hell I'm able to remember that now, I don't know, especially considering I ain't slept since yesterday morning. I don't know, maybe that's the key to get my memory to work better, is just not sleep. That would suck though. because I do enjoy sleeping from time to time. And I'm sure eventually without it, it would not be good. Oop, trying to lag on me a little bit. Alright, let me go into the construction menu, because I can select this and it will tell me how much it's worth. 58,295. Alright, so let's look at silos. We'll look at multi-fruit silos, which is probably going to be a mod. So we got these for 25,000. Let's see, this is also multi-fruit, but that's almost, or I could go with this one because I think this is the one I had on the last, or I could go with the extra large. I don't really need all that much storage space though, shit. That's a bit much. What's that one? That one kind of resembles the one I have. And it is multi-fruit. Alright, I might need to move those implements because they may interfere with placing the silo. And I'll just put it back where this one is. I'm going to go to and get rid of this barn and erect some new buildings and stuff. I'll just have to figure it out. As a matter of fact, I might clear out a bunch of trees and use. I kind of hate to do it. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna. Since I got the rental cabins over here, kind of want to move the stuff away from there. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and sell this one. So what if maybe I move the stuff over here somewhere? So I got plenty of room over here. Let's see, right there is the edge, so I can't go past that. And actually, I don't really want to go up that close to it. I kind of want to keep some of the trees near the house. So tell you what, let me Here we go. And maybe set it back from the road just a little bit here. Now let's go into, shit. Hit the wrong button, of course. Which eventually I'm going to move that too, probably. And I might switch to a different type, I don't know yet. Alright, so let's see, let's go to landscaping, we'll go to painting, do gravel, switch to the, actually let me switch back to the square one, just kind of get the initial bits set up here. Might have to do a little bit with some concrete as well. Let's see, I kind of want to get that even if I can. Shit, I went too far with it. Whatever. I can pretty it up later. I think this is the right one. That's good enough. Good enough for now, anyway. Let me move this back around here. And what I'll do is eventually I'll get rid of this shed and I'll just move everything over to there and leave these trees. And you know what, since I'm going to do that, let me get rid of this greenhouse too. Sale. Alright, cool. Now that gives me a place to put some hay. And I'm kind of back to where it was money-wise. Eventually I'm going to clean this up right through here too. I might put some more cabins over here on. Because them cabins do give you a pretty decent passive income. Let's see, let me look at the calendar again. I wanted to see when. So it's going to be a little while before I can plant soybeans. So canola. Yeah, soybeans is. least a little better than canola. It ain't a whole lot better, but it is some better. What I might do is clear out a spot over here in these trees somewhere and put a fermenting silo for the silage. Or maybe put the cows over there. Because on this map, where I played off stream, that's where I had the cow barn on it. So I might put it in a different spot on here. I don't know. We'll see, because it's probably going to be a while before I can get to that anyway. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do this go around is, like say, get everything moved over here into this area, get whatever fields I want to get the farm itself set up the way I want it, get equipment upgraded the way I want it, and all that good stuff before I ever get into doing critters or anything. Which, of course, once I get done collecting this, I can hit a bunch of sleep cycles, skip some time, because it's going to be a while before I can plant the soybeans. So with those cabins, that should give me enough passive income that I'll be able to get the wood cut and stuff. Which, let me look right quick. I'm going to see where wood chips. So I can sell those at the sale all, and it looks like the price is pretty close wherever you go. Looks like I can sell them about any of the houses too. I got plenty of options when it comes to the wood chips, and that's a good thing. Because when I tried it on Elm Creek map. I never could get it to work right for some reason. Not sure why. Just never could get it. It might have been the truck I was using, because you remember with that international grain truck that I had, which was a mod, it just, for some reason it wouldn't work with certain cell things. Which, if you remember to start this one off with, I got it, and I couldn't get it to work at the cell all where I've been taking everything. So, which having to change trucks out already did kind of set me back a little bit. Of course, I'd been trying to work out to where my money was right anyway, and I hadn't quite gotten rid of all of the money that I needed to get rid of. I was still had a few thousand, I think, so it probably worked out in a way. But it all worked out. I mean, I'm not trying to do no deadpan accurate hardcore gaming in this anyway. We're just having fun. And to me, that's what games are really all about. It's just having fun. Because, at least in my opinion, that's kind of implied by the word game. That it's meant to be fun. Uh-oh. Did I get disconnected? Hold on one damn second here. What's going on over here? I just happened to notice that this... Okay. I hope my internet ain't having problems, which... Alright, seems like everything's okay, at least for now. I just happened to glance over because, I mean, normally I've got really good peripheral vision, but I don't know, sometimes when I'm streaming, it's like I get kind of sucked into what I'm doing, and I guess I'm just concentrating so much that I'm not paying as much attention to my peripheral vision, and sometimes I miss it when stuff happens. I had my window fan in earlier, but it was already getting a bit warm. So I took that out and closed the window and turned the AC on, but now it's feeling like it might be a little bit too chilly. I'll just leave it be though, because I know since it's getting in the afternoon, I know it's going to start getting a lot warmer. Oh, hold on one second. I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. Ah, so let's see. Turning radius on this tractor ain't that great. Oh, excuse me. We'll make it work. I might have to take a minute here and put one of my knee braces on. My damn knee's starting to hurt quite a bit. Which the right one is the worst one because years ago they did MRIs on my knees. That's when they told me I had arthritis, which it's not rheumatoid. It's rheumatoid arthritis. I think I've got this right, but rheumatoid is when your immune system attacks your joints, but that's not what I've got. My arthritis just comes from damage that's happened to my knees over the years. That bit right there is going to be fun to try to. Uh, Actually, I think I've got a way I can do it without risking dumping the tractor or the loading wagon into the pond there. I always thought it would be really nice to have you know, farm or something where I could have a freshwater pond that was stocked with fish. So I could just, wouldn't even have to leave my property if I wanted to go fishing. Just go down there and fish in it. Why the hell is there a bench on top of this thing? Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go up there and sit down for a while. It's a little weird. Because I'm sure it was no easy task to carry it some bitch up there. Even if it came in a box and you put it together up there, I mean, which that would be a bit of a pain in the ass too. Because just imagine trying to put together a bench on top of that sumbitch and you drop a fucking screw. You'll never find that sumbitch because it would go all the way to fucking ground. Because I guarantee you that's it. Fucking grates. You know, like you see on a lot of industrial catwalks and stuff where it's, you know, open, it's not actually fully closed. Maybe next time I go over there to unload, I'll hop out the tractor and run up there and just take a look at it right quick. I can't tell if there's a slight grade going up to over that edge of the field or if it's just some kind of slight fisheye lens anomaly here. Well, yeah, that's probably it because I know things sometimes do that on this screen. Probably got enough of it out of the way and do this without going in the pond. So picking up shit, I didn't get all of it. Here we go. Sorry if it's a bit loud when I do that. Sometimes I do it and don't even think about it or even realize that I'm doing it. And I kind of have to have my mic adjusted a little bit loud because my voice don't carry very well. It's always been a problem of mine. That's why I always just really absolutely hated when I was in college and I was required to do any kind of public speaking or anything. I mean, I never was fond of speaking in front of people anyway. But when you're like me and you got a voice that don't carry very well and you're uh, not using any kind of microphone or anything, it's even more of a pain in the ass. Because then you really gotta kind of strain and put effort into projecting your voice, which ain't easy. I'll let this. It's kind of hard to tell from down here whether that's solid plating. It might be solid. It's finished doing its thing, so let's go up here and see. Okay, it looks like it is actually solid. And there's actually a lip on it, so yeah, I guess it wouldn't be all that bad. Oh, look, there's a basketball up here, too. Wonder if there's a freaking goal on here. Probably not. No, I don't see one. Good thing there's no fall damage in this game. Okay, that's cool. Which now that I've been up there, I realize it's not, probably wouldn't be quite as hard as I imagined it to be. Also depending on how heavy a damn bench is. So yeah, we'll get this done, and I'll check the calendar again and see when the planting time for the soybeans starts. I think I can't remember exactly when it was, and then skip time till then. Of course, I might get enough before then to get the stuff to do the tree grinding that I was wanting to do. So if that does happen, then I may stop skipping time long enough to get that going and do a little bit of that. That way I can start clearing out over here to move, set up buildings and all that kind of shit. So actually, I think what I'm going to do this time on this thing is unload this. I'm going to slip on my knee brace. My damn knees are singing. Oh boy. Because luckily these ones I got here don't take it long to put on. They slide on kind of like a sock or leg warmer or some shit like that. Oh, because they're made out of compression material, which is kind of stretchy. And then they got like a little silicone band on the inside of them, keep them from sliding off. And they actually do work pretty good at taking care of my knee pain. So I think I've talked about this before, how the other ones I got, even though they work good, they got Velcro on them, which over time digs into my leg and ends up hurting worse. They make my knee itself feel better, but then they dig into my legs above and below my knee and start making that part of my leg hurt. And it seems to be going a little bit faster than I expected it to, which is nice. Let's see, I've got quite a bit of flat ground right there that I could utilize. Of course, I don't want to get too close to the field because then that screws up the runoff room for doing shit like I'm doing right now. Could put a silage thing over there, maybe. Who knows? I don't know, might use it for something, might not. I'll figure it out as I go along. Pottinger, does it say Faro? Yeah, that's what it says. Faro! There we go. We got a full trailer again. I think I'm gonna have to put both braces on. So while I'm unloading this, I'll put the other one on. There we go. Back years ago, when I first got the other two knee braces I've got, it's got the metal hinges on either side. Whenever I put them on, I'd always say I've got my bionics on. Called them my bionicle legs or my bionicle knees. That was back when I was doing electric and plumbing work when I got them. Doing that kind of work can be rough on your knees, especially if you do a lot of repair work or refitting work on older homes, and you got to crawl around underneath them and shit. Of course, sometimes even on newer homes, you got crawl space. Of course, you know, in the area where I live, most people have basements. But some houses have crawl space. Of course, there's a few that are built on a slab too. And them, they're not all that bad because you go in. For them, you got to go in before the concrete's poured and put everything in, and then the concrete people come in behind you and do what they got to do, and the pipes all get buried in the concrete, which I remember we did. We did a couple hot water heating things too. One of them we did was with the heated floor, where you lay the pipe down underneath. It's not really underneath, it's actually kind of embedded inside, but you put piping down in a pattern. Like if you've ever paid attention to like an electric blanket or something, the way the wire is run through it, where it'll go up the length of it, make a U-turn, come back down, make another U-turn, go back up, like that in parallels. We'd lay pipe, I think it was it PEX pipe we laid, I think, doing that. But you lay it down in that manner, and then they pour the concrete over it and bury it in the concrete. And you just pump hot water through it constantly. Of course, it's usually set up on some kind of thermostat or something, so once the room reaches a certain temperature, it'll shut it off so that it's not pumping just all the time. And then you just pump hot water through those pipes, and that heat radiates into the concrete and then up into the room itself. And then there was another style of hot water heating we did that was kind of similar to the old radiators you used to see in houses, but this was a newer setup style, so the heaters themselves looked like electric baseboard heaters, but they had copper tubing running through them, and you would just run I don't remember now if it's 3/4 or a 1/2 inch copper pipe through each one. I won't say it was 1/2 inch. But anyway, you just run, like I said, the copper pipe run through it, and then it had fins built into it, because it worked very similar to a baseboard electric heater. The only difference was where a baseboard electric heater has wires that run through it that will heat up when power is applied. This just had a copper pipe running through the middle of it with fins attached to it to help radiate the heat out. And you'd cycle hot water through them with a pump that was wired to a thermostat, so the thermostat would control when it kicked on and off. And as the hot water went through those heaters, it would radiate the heat off of the water into the room. Which that was kind of a sad deal with that, because it was a really old farmhouse that a couple bought, and they were refurbishing the house. They were keeping pretty much everything original, but like I say, they were updating all the electrical. They were updating the heat, the plumbing, you know. But they were trying to keep everything as close to original. I mean, I think they updated the windows and stuff too, maybe, and the doors, make it a little bit more airtight. But only so much you can do to make old houses like that airtight. Anyway, you know, they was fixing it, and there was an old barn, and they were redoing the barn too. And I forget now if it's in the downstairs or the loft of the barn. But they had a son who played some kind of musical instrument. I don't even remember now what it was. But they were going to turn part of that into a recording studio or something. Maybe not a recording studio, but like a practice studio or something. But anyway, it was mainly for the son. I think the dad might have played music too. I don't remember now. But anyway, we got done doing all of the heating stuff and plumbing stuff in it, and we were supposed to come back at another time to do some more work, which might have been, I think we still had a little bit of electrical to do in the house, but I think most of what we still had to do was in the barn. But we had to wait on the carpenters and some other people to do some stuff first. But I don't know, maybe a month or so after we got done working there, we heard that I think it was the lady that lived there was building a fire in the old fireplace, and then because they'd been away for a while and had come back to do more work on the house, because they hadn't actually moved there yet. They were still living, I don't know where, somewhere out of state, I think. And we're waiting until everything was finished before they moved there permanently. But it'd come back, and it was cold, of course, because I think it was early spring, so you know, we were still having some cold days and whatever. Anyway, the heating system wasn't fully operational yet, because I don't think they were ready to actually install like the hot water heater and stuff yet. So I think we just did all the rough end of the heat system. Now, it's kind of hard to remember, because damn, it's been what, 20, 25 years ago maybe. Anyway, I don't guess it's really relevant to the story, but anyway, it was cold, and she went to build a fire in the old fireplace to warm the house up, but they never checked the chimney. And at some point, while they were gone, some kind of critter, and probably a raccoon, had built a nest in the chimney and I guess blocked it up. Maybe not completely, but at least partially anyway. Ended up causing a chimney fire, which ended up spreading to the rest of the house before they could get it under control because it was, pretty far out in the country. So it took a while for a fire department to get there. But yeah, it ended up burning the house down. I don't I don't think the fire ever got to the barn, but of course, with the house gone, I think they honestly, I don't really know what they ever did with it. It seems like I heard something about them just selling it, but it's kind of hard to remember. But yeah, it was sad because it was a really nice old house too. It really wasn't in bad shape at all. Just needed a few updates to make it a bit more cozy and livable. Like I say, with a little bit of updated heat, electrical and all. But yeah, just a simple mistake of building a fire and not checking the chimney beforehand. As I remember as a kid, because we always had a wood stove in the basement to heat the house with. And every year in the fall or whenever it first started getting cold enough to build a fire, actually probably a couple weeks beforehand, when the weather first started getting cool, but it really wasn't quite cold enough to build a fire yet. I remember Dad would always pull the pipe off the top of the stove and out of the chimney because it wasn't fixed in permanently. It was just set in there, and use a mirror and stick it in there to look up the chimney to make sure it wasn't no blockages or nothing. And then, of course, after he passed away, that job went to me. And we never did burn pine wood in the stove either. Since pine has a lot of rosin in it, whatever, it was kind of the worst offender at causing what was it they used to call it? What soot? Something else. Creosote. Yeah, causing creosote to build up on the inside of the chimney, which is actually quite flammable. Of course, when my dad was still living, of course, there was plenty of places. I don't know how he found them or got permission to cut wood on them, but I just remember there being a lot of places He'd go and cut wood. Of course, once I got a little bit older, I would go help him sometimes. I might not go help cut wood or anything, but I would often go help him load it on the truck and haul it home and unload it. And sometimes I'd split it too. Of course, eventually he showed me how to run the saw and everything. And I never did cut trees down, but I would cut it up into bits, into firewood bits. You always had to be careful not to let the chain hit the dirt, because it would really dull a chain quick if you got it in the dirt. See, I think that's kind of funny. I mean, you live in, more urban areas or even a nicer neighborhood out in the country or close to the country. You probably got a kind of home where you just, set the thermostat in one part of the house to a temperature and the whole house stays that temperature or close to it. And that's all you got to do, and all you got to know the number to the service person that, something. If for some reason it don't do what it's supposed to do, you call that number and somebody comes and goes into a room you don't go into and does something that you don't understand, and then it starts working again. When you live out in the country, though, you got to know about chainsaws. You got to know about chainsaw safety. You got to know how to work on chainsaws. You got to know how to keep chainsaws sharp. You got to go out and know where to go find wood to cut. Got to, you know, got to have a truck to haul the wood. Got to have the chainsaw. Got to have the tools to work on chainsaw. Got to know, what kind of woods to burn, what not to burn. Which, growing up, I just figured all that kind of shit was common knowledge because, it was common knowledge, at least around where I live. But, I have also, for at least short periods of time, lived in places where, yeah, you go in, you turn, punch a button on a electronic thermostat on the wall, and it just stays at temperature unless something breaks. Let's see, I don't have any way of cleaning this thing right now. And I kind of want to wait till I get some of the other stuff set up. Before I actually fix a place for all that shit. So for now, I'll just let this thing stay dirty. It ain't gonna hurt it to be dirty. At least not as far as game's concerned. As for the game, it really don't make a damn when it's dirty or not. It's still gonna pretty much work the same. Now maintenance, yeah, that's different, but dirt, don't give a shit. Alrighty, let's do some. Oh, almost forgot to double check when planting season starts for the. I'm gonna put the calendar down. Shit. Soybean starts May. Okay, and it's September 1st. So we got a while to go. Oh, I'm making a little better off in cabins than I thought I was. Yeah, I ain't complaining. Uh, Damn, I was gonna look at something. I done forgot. What was I even gonna look at? I was gonna check on something. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me, maybe it won't. I guess if it was important enough, it'll probably come back to me. But I don't know. It might not. But yeah, of course, growing up, I grew up before the internet came along, so. 'Cause I mean, we didn't even have computers in schools around here until I was in high school. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly which grade I was in. I want to say it was either ninth or 10th, maybe. Could have been the 8th. I'm thinking it was ninth. Yeah, I'm almost certain it would have had to have at least been the ninth because I remember the room that they turned into computer room had been something else. It might have been a janitor's closet or something. Because it wasn't a tiny room like you'd normally think of as a closet. It was kind of a small room, but it was because they had all the computers along one wall, and tables, and then they just had chairs, and there was a good space between there and the opposite wall, and it was kind of a long room too. Uh, I don't remember exactly how many computers was in there. There might have been as many as a dozen. I don't think there was more than a dozen though, and they were all old Apple computers. There might, yeah, I think there was like the old dot matrix printer that had the little spiky wheels on each side, and the paper you put in it had the edges with the holes in it that you'd have to tear off once the printing was done. And of course, it came in a roll, so you would have to tear the individual sheets off as well, which we never did use the printer all that much. I mean, sometimes you'd do an assignment and you'd have to use it, but uh, I mean, mostly what everybody used it for was to play Oregon Trail. And actually, as a matter of fact, I think for like a civics class or something, we actually went down there and played that game as part of the class. But had the old screen where everything was just a bunch of green dots. Had the old big, what was it, 5-inch floppy disk? Yeah, because I don't think 3.5 inch floppy disk came out until I started college. Although they might have started my senior year in high school, because I remember I believe it was my senior year that they uh, updated the computers in the school, got new computers, and I think the new ones they got were like IBMs or something. But I think by then I didn't use them all that much because which by then I was in vocational school for half of the day, so I wasn't even at the high school building for half the day. I should have plenty enough to get the tree thing and the trailer I wanted, so let's get that stuff. Oh, it's 52,000, not 58. That's fine. Standard. Yeah. I guess I should do a license plate on it. That's fine. Mm, Did I? No, I didn't actually buy the damn thing, did I? Oops. Sometimes I do that. I think I've bought it, but I've backed out of it before I've actually bought it. Okay. But luckily, there on the screen it tells you I've got one owned and zero leased. So that kind of helps let you know whether you fucked up or not. But yeah, I remember when I was in college, I bought like a big old box full of the 3.5 inch floppy disk, which it was funny because they still called them floppy disks, but they weren't actually floppy, they were a hard plastic. Whereas the old 5 inch ones were actually fairly floppy. Forestry equipment, that's what I'm looking for. And to be perfectly honest with you, I've probably still got most, if not all, of those old 3.5 inch floppy disks stuck in a box or a drawer or something somewhere around here. Although I don't have anything to use them in anymore. Let's do the Unreal. Let's make it. Let's make it a bright orange color. You know, that way people know danger. Don't step in front of this thing. It'll chew you up. Alright, so buy that. And dark. No, it's early in the morning. Which it is November, so days are shorter in the northern hemisphere in November. Throughout the winter. Turn the lights on. Turn the beacon on too. Hell, why not? And then I remember after that, you went to started getting the optical drives where you could actually burn stuff to CDs instead of on those kind of discs. And then they started coming out with the USB drives and stuff like that. Which I know they actually came out with another, like an updated version of the old Oregon Trail game. Don't remember exactly how long ago. I think it's been a few years anyway. Matter of fact, I think I saw it on Steam. One day I was just looking around shits. I think I saw it on there. I remember that game could be frustrating though, because always ending up fucking dysentery or starving to death or some bullshit. But I know that was kind of the point. It was meant to kind of showcase how hard it was for people back in those days to travel cross country, going to California for the gold rush or whatever the fuck it was. Whatever reason they was headed that way. But you know, now that I think about it, something I remember thinking was a bit odd. Which I guess maybe it ain't all that odd, because but you know, back then I'd never heard the word pemmican until the last few years. Yet pemmican apparently is something that was very common for people to have back then and carry with them. I don't know. Sometimes things just seem kind of off to me, though. Which I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm one of those people who uh, distinctly remembers hearing on the news back in the 80s of Nelson Mandela dying in prison, even though apparently he didn't. Also remember the Monopoly guy having a monocle, which apparently he never had. I remember the comedian Sinbad doing a movie where he played a genie, and apparently that never happened. And even Sinbad himself has said that never happened, but I distinctly remember it. I don't know. Weird shit, man. Weird shit. What does it mean? I don't know. Plenty of guesses, but no real answers. Nah. Who knows if there'll ever be any real answers. Uh, Pipe out. Let's see. I gotta make sure I select the right thing, otherwise I can't lift it or lower it now. Turn it on. And this thing is just pure wood devouring magic. Because it cuts the tree, turns it into wood chips, and grinds the stump all in one go. I remember this mod first coming out on FS19, and man, I fell in love with it right off the bat. Although sometimes the stump grinding part of it's a little tricky, because it's supposed to work, you know, as you're doing this. As soon as you basically touch the stump, it's supposed to, but sometimes you have to go to the side of it like that. But hey, it still works.
An iJames001 is now following.
Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a good day. But yeah, I pretty much I pretty much immediately fell in love with this mod, because it's just, normally you'd have to have like 3 different pieces of equipment to do this job, because you'd need a chainsaw or a tree harvester. You would need a wood chipper, and you'd need a stump grinder. Oh yeah. Which, the wood cutting in this game has always been a little bit janky. Because I remember, let's see, was it? Yeah, I believe it was 15. Yeah, 15 was when they first introduced all the forestry stuff. Oh, I'm doing all right. Haven't slept, but other than that, I'm fine. Oh, it looks like I'm full. Let's turn that off, raise it up, and we'll go sell these wood chips. Yeah, I kind of hated doing wood cutting in 15. The cutting and everything, if I was doing like the spruce trees, it was fine. But any of the other trees, it was always such a pain in the ass, because you'd have all of the odd shaped limbs and stuff, and they were hard to load onto the trucks. They were hard to transport. And of course, in 15, you weren't able to use your hand. So everything had to be done by machine. So you either had to use like a log grabber or something on a piece of machinery, or the wood chippers that were available on 15 had little loading cranes built into them that you could use. And those things were always such a pain in the ass to use. And it would just get really freaking frustrating. The 17 was the first one where you could use your hand, I believe. So I'm trying to think of what was the janky bit about that. Yeah, I think it was in 17 that the log grabbers were kind of glitchy, and a lot of times you'd grab a log and pick it up, and it would start wigging out and would then just fly out of the thing. And or was that in 19? I don't know. They kind of run together now because it's been so long since I've played either one of those. This one, though, it's actually kind of been pretty bad because I had trouble with the wood chippers wants to throw stuff everywhere instead of actually pulling it into the chipper and chipping it like it's supposed to. Instead, it pulls it into the chipper head and then slings it halfway across the map. And then when I was doing that one logging map last year, or trying to anyway, I remember when I would try to load the truck and haul the logs anywhere, all of a sudden the truck would become super tippy, and I mean you had to just creep along and be super careful on curves or anything, or the truck would just lay over on its side. So yeah, but this doesn't give you any problems really. Um, I wouldn't really consider myself a variety streamer, I don't guess, because I have well, right now I have like 4 games that I'm streaming on a regular. There's a few others that I stream now and then, but I pretty much stream. Like on Mondays, I stream Farming Simulator. Tuesdays, I do Snow Runner. Uh, Wednesdays, right now, I'm doing No Man's Sky. Uh, and then Thursdays, I do Medieval Dynasty. And then I just do that every week. Sometimes I might do something a little different once in a while, but right now, that's what I'm doing. Because I was doing 7 Days to Die on Wednesdays before, but after uh, the last OBS update, for some reason, 7 Days to Die won't display on OBS. And I ain't been able to figure out exactly why that is. Now, see, this is bringing in some pretty decent money. So hopefully, with this setup and everything else, I'll be able to progress quite a bit faster than I did when I was playing on Elm Creek or Elk Creek, whichever it was. Yeah, it was Elm Creek. Yeah, it took me a while to progress on that map. Of course, I was using smaller fields, and I was pretty much starting from scratch, whereas this one I at least started with the money that I had after selling everything on Elm Creek. So that gave me a bit of a boost too. But there's a lot more logging on this map than there was on Elm Creek. So that gives me a little bit of a leg up on this map. Sorry, my nose is itching. I'm trying not to sneeze. I think it's easing up now. It's still itching a little bit though. I'll try to be quick enough to mute my mic if I can. If I do, I'd sneeze though. Like I say, I know if I cough or something like that, sometimes it can be a bit loud because the way I have to adjust my microphone so that you can actually hear my voice over the game, since my voice don't carry that well. Which hopefully one of these days I'll be able to get a much better mic, because this, I mean, basically this is just a cheap gaming headset that I got. So that I could stream. Which is kind of funny, because if you go online and look at like the basic recommended specs for a streaming PC, mine probably don't really live up to that. And I know my internet's not really cut out for it either, but somehow it works. I don't know. I don't question it. I'm just glad that it does. Which I think the fact that I'm using a Vroid model and I'm not actually doing any kind of face tracking or anything like that, I think helps, make it less taxing on my computer and on my internet as well. Lower, turn on, and go at it again. I figure I'll take out all the trees on this side of the field, between the field and the road, as that will kind of open things up. Maybe I can put a few things over here, and then I'll clear out some trees on the other side of the road too, and I'll kind of move all my farming stuff over on this side. And like I say, I might put a few more of those rental cabins over near where I set up those other two, because that's a really nice passive income. And I don't think it's any kind of really outrageous kind of income or anything that could qualify as actual cheating. Although some people would say, "Oh, you cheating if you play on anything other than the hardest mode available." And hey, if that's the way you like to play, go for it. I prefer not to play that way. And that's what I like about most games. Because most games these days have many. I mean, it used to be, honestly, in the really old days, there was no choice. The game was what it was, and you played it. Which back then, mostly the only goal was just to get the highest score, and then put your initials next to your score. Which, if you was playing at home on an Atari, didn't really matter unless you had a lot of siblings or friends that would come around and play. It was mostly meant for arcade people who played at the arcade, so that everybody could see who the top 10 or 12 people was. Sometimes they'd know who the initials was, sometimes they wouldn't. Some people would get kind of famous at local arcades for having high scores. And, later it became about, accomplishing stuff or even beating a game. I'm wondering, I'm kind of wondering now, what was the first game that actually had some sort of ending to it? I'm thinking, could it have been Mario? Or don't, like, what was it, Mario World or whatever? Because it was all based off of Donkey Kong. And I actually played Donkey Kong. I had Donkey Kong on the Atari. Oh, I gotta remember to keep my eye on this because, a lot of, like, your regular harvesters and things, a lot of times will automatically stop harvesting when they're full, but this won't do that. And I know most of the silage harvesters won't do that either. They'll keep going. Now, I think there might be a mod to change that, but I'm not too sure about that. 'Cause I used to be bad about that on, I think, 19. I was probably the worst offender on that one. Especially if I was playing on the some of the maps with the much larger fields. It's a little squirrely there. But yeah, I can just remember, driving a damn big chrome forage harvester with the big corn header on it through a giant ass cornfield and just kind of zoning out. And next thing I know, my trailer's been 100% full for the last 3 or 4 passes, and I've wasted a shit ton of corn because I wasn't paying attention. Or it just kind of zoomed out. Looking at it from this angle, it looks like that bumper on that trailer sticks way the hell out from the back of it, but it's just a angle because actually it doesn't stick out from the back at all. I mean, it sticks back from the tires, but not the actual back of the trailer. If you look at it from just the right angle, like right there, looks like it's half a mile out from the back of the trailer. That's how perspective can play tricks on you if you ain't careful. Which, if I remember right, is why, like before cops started using radar and stuff like that for checking people's speeds. If they was going to write you a speeding ticket, they would actually have to get behind you and follow you for a distance and keep pace with you and read their own speedometer for it to hold up. Because otherwise, it was just your word against theirs. And, since perspectives can mess with your judgment of like how fast things are moving or how close or far away they are or what kind of angle they are in relation to each other and stuff. It's kind of unreliable. Even if you've got somebody that's kind of trained to look at that stuff. Which I've seen in a lot of towns now. They don't even do that anymore. They have of course, for a while now, they've had cameras at like stoplights stuff. Of course, they don't usually check your speed. They just check if you run the red light. But a lot of towns, uh, which I know one or two of the towns around here have had them for quite a long time. But I know in the last, has it been a few years or several years? I don't even remember now. But let's just say the last few years at least, a lot of the towns around here are starting to get them now. But it's basically just a signpost, and it's got a digital readout on it, and on top it'll have the posted speed limit, and then on the digital sign it'll actually tell you how fast you're going as you approach it. And I think some of those have cameras on them. I'm not sure about all of them, but I believe that at least some of them do. A lot of times these days you do something, you don't get pulled over, you just get a ticket in the mail. It's like, man, you were speeding on such and such road at such and such a day. But yeah, I'm wondering, was was Mario the first? Because I remember I had an Atari, and then the next gaming system I had was the NES. But when Atari was out, there was actually another console out. It was called the ColecoVision. I didn't have one, but I had a cousin who had one. I don't really remember that much about it, though. I'm trying to remember now if if Sega put out anything around the time the NES came out. But I can't remember now if it was around the same time or if it was a bit later. Yeah, I just can't remember now. But yeah, either way, I mean, shit, we've come a long way from Pac-Man, Asteroids, Pitfall Harry, shit like that. Pole Position. Those were all Atari 2600 games, by the way. I was thinking about starting here, but I kind of want to leave some of these trees here just for aesthetics. So I think what I'll do instead is go over here. And then from here down, I'll remove the trees. Let's lower the chipper and turn it on. There we go. And I'm thinking for the other side of the road, I'll start just on that side of the silo down that way. And clear out some trees and give myself some room for some barns, sheds, and all the shit that I need for doing this whole farming thing. surprised, pleasantly surprised that the tractor was able to do that, considering the turning radius ain't all that swift. I mean, I guess there is a slight, very slight possibility it could be operator error, but I repeat, very slight chance of that. No, because usually when I'm steering it, I'm at full lock anyway. Unless I'm just making subtle adjustments while trying to go straight or something. But see, there's a pretty good sized bush I forgot to get rid of earlier. I just didn't see. Oh, I'm full again. Might have been full last damn tree I cut down. I don't know because I wasn't paying attention. I hit the wrong button. Hell yeah. I'm gonna blame it on my lack of sleep. Why? Because I can. That's why. How did I even end up? I don't know, because I think originally I was talking about. I don't know, I guess I had moved on from that conversation. Because I remember I was talking about weird shit going on, I was talking about Mandela effects and shit like that. Because I love watching videos on shit like on that kind of shit, ghosts, aliens, all that kind of shit. Which I also really like watching actual science documentaries, stuff, particularly those about space or biology, or, well, those would probably be my favorite if I was asked what's my favorite, but I kind of get into about all of it. Almost any kind of science I find interesting, at least to some extent. Some I find more interesting than I do others, but and I'll be honest, there's maybe one or two things that most people would actually consider a legitimate science that I think complete bullshit. But we won't go into that. And I know there's a lot of people that thinks that, stuff like ghosts, aliens, and stuff like that's all bullshit, and that's fine. Because honestly, I mean, there is. I mean, I know, people are trying to find ways to possibly somehow objectively prove things like ghost, alien, UFOs, aliens, things like that. Stuff like that could be proven now, possibly. Some would say it has been proven. I mean, there's even government officials that said it's real. But, especially with AI and all this other stuff these days, there's a lot of shit you can't trust anymore. even if you see, pictures or videos, those are more easily faked now than they've ever been. So it's good to have a little healthy skepticism. And while some people are taking a lot more of a scientific approach to things like ghosts and hauntings and things like that, you know, I I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing I think that I've seen or heard of that could be considered, 100% conclusive proof of the existence. I've seen a lot, quite a bit of stuff that makes it damn near impossible to say, that doesn't exist or couldn't exist. And to be perfectly honest with you, I've had my own experiences, which if you were around during Halloween or if you went on some of my video channels, like my regular channel or my VOD channel, you might notice, not on my VOD channel, but on my other channel, there's actually me telling my own personal ghost stories of experiences I've actually had myself. So, while I do believe in the existence of ghosts, I also don't believe that there's, at least up to this point, there's been any kind of, definitive, unrefutable evidence. I've seen very, very, very compelling evidence, but I don't think I've seen anything that could be, you know, you could point to and say, yep, that is a 100% proof that they do exist, and it's unrefutable. And I'm sorry to say, but a lot of the videos you see online of that kind of stuff are fake, or in the case of a lot of the compilation style videos, where they'll show like little short clips or just pictures. Yeah, some of those are fake too. I don't think the person making the compilation video faked them. They've just been given fakes, which they've then put into a compilation. Or, if they collected them themselves, they maybe got fooled by something that looked good but might have been fake or whatever. But I've seen quite a few of those where I think it's, just people kind of reaching a bit and, kind of letting their own biases make them jump to conclusions. So, like one real good example I've seen fairly recently was there was a video that got passed around at least a few of the compilation style videos that I watch, where it looked like a cat was walking in place, basically moonwalking on the sidewalk outside of some kind of little store or something. And at first glance, yeah, it looks pretty damn freaky. But if you look at it, with a little dose of healthy skepticism, even if you're a believer in that stuff, which I am, I do believe in that stuff. Like I say, I've had my own experiences, so But some of that stuff is very easily explained in a more common, more rational way. And of course, as it turned out, the cat was on a leash, and the leash was tied to something at the front of the store, and the cat was just walking, trying to walk away. And I think it might have even had been raining, and the sidewalk might have even been a little wet or something. But either way, the cat was just, trying to walk, but the leash was holding it in place. Because later I saw because in a lot of the compilations, the videos were kind of zoomed in or cropped a little bit more on the cat, so you didn't really see like where the end of the leash was, where it would have been tied, and all this. Because when you see that part of it where it's more zoomed out, which I guess would have been the original video, uh, it's fairly clear that there's a leash there. But that's one example. Like, I remember another example. It was of a quote unquote phantom car that just appeared out of nowhere and caused an accident. It was I think it was a Russian dash cam clip. Anyway, it was like it was from a car that was following, I believe it was a black Mercedes, and it goes to pull out from an intersection, and all of a sudden it T-bones a little black shit box that just somehow magically appears right in front of it. But it's a trick of perspective. And actually, if you really pay attention to that particular video, there's one point just shortly before the shitbox car actually comes into frame. You can actually see just barely a little bit of the rear quarter panel past the black Mercedes if you really look closely. And like I say, it's just a matter of perspective, because the car with the camera in it is at a slight angle to the Mercedes, and the direction the car hits comes from, it's obscured by the Mercedes. Um, and even as the cars move forward, the way the car's coming, it continues to be obscured by the Mercedes for the most part. Like I say, except for in that one little short, I think it's only like 2 or 3 frames, even maybe, you'll see just a sliver of the rear quarter panel of the other car. But yeah, I think a lot of the stuff you see in some of those videos can fairly easily be rationally explained. But now some of them, I've not found any kind of rational explanation for. Now maybe there's something I overlook or can't see, but yeah, some of them look pretty freaking legit. But anyway, I still enjoy watching them either way. And even some of the other videos, like the whole actual like uh, investigation videos and stuff that I know are either for a fact or fake, or most likely fake, I still enjoy watching them a lot of times because they're still entertaining. But anyway, I don't even remember where I that conversation was meant to be going to begin with now. And again, I'm going to blame lack of sleep, even though I think we all know that how easily I sometimes lose train of thought or forget shit. Because, yeah, I don't even remember now what my intention was of even starting that whole spiel. Oh well, whatever. It might come to me, it might not. I don't reckon it's too awfully important anyway. And now, like with the whole alien UFO stuff, sure, there's a lot of stuff that I've seen that it's hard to find some kind of rational explanation for. There's a lot of stuff I've seen that's easily faked. Now, I believe there most likely is life somewhere on another planet somewhere. Whether it's intelligent, whether it's actually traveled here or not, who knows? I haven't seen anything that, like I say, you could point to and say, nope, that's 100% absolute, irrefutable proof. I've seen, plenty of things that have absolutely no rational explanation, and even some of them, according to experts who have examined this stuff, it's not been faked or tampered with. So. But regardless of whether, even if all of it was fake, statistically speaking, I think it would be almost impossible for there not to be life on other worlds, like say whether or not it's intelligent life as we understand it or whatever. Who knows? Which another thing that I find fairly what's the word, perplexing, yet also completely understand why, is the fact that we have probably explored more and know more about space than we do our own oceans. Because why wouldn't we explore more of the oceans? But I also understand why that's the case, because the hurdles that come with exploring an ocean as opposed to exploring space, the hurdles are different and are a bit more uh, complicated to try to overcome with what technology we currently have. I mean, sure, there's plenty of places we could go explore it if somebody really wanted to. And I think in that case, it's just a matter of is there interest in it? Is there money for it? You know, because money tends to be a hurdle for a lot of things. And I think in some cases it's not so much as whether the money is available or not, but is anybody willing to part with the money without getting some kind of gain or return for it? And I think greed has stifled a lot of advancement in certain areas and exploration in certain areas. No, thank you. I'm not interested in that right now. I appreciate the offer, though. Not at this time, no. But thank you. Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if I needed to switch to the trailer to make that work or not, but nope, it's working fine. But yeah, I can always remember, even from quite a young age, being interested in like science and stuff. Figuring out how things work. Which it's kind of been a while, but one thing that I really got interested in here, well, I say a few years ago, but it's probably been longer than that because time, as you get older, time seems different. You have a different perspective on time. And sometimes you can think things has only been a few years ago, but it's actually been like a fucking decade. But either way, it's not really relevant. But I got fairly interested in like quantum physics. And I've watched quite a few shows, documentaries, things like that about it, but I've not really gone too in depth reading about it and stuff like that, like I have some other stuff. And I keep meaning to, and just never end up getting around to it. And I think one of the more fascinating aspects about quantum physics and like subatomic particles and stuff like that is how some of them sometimes can uh, basically defy the laws of basic physics sometimes. It's like there's particles that can, pass through solid matter like it ain't even there. There's particles that can at least appear to travel faster than light. I don't know, there's a lot of fascinating stuff about it. Which, I've mentioned before how I've kept pretty much all of my college textbooks. I think there was only like one or two that I didn't keep. There was one that I never got to begin with, which was the organic chemistry one. Which I did eventually get one of those like organic chemistry for dummies books, but I haven't really. I've skimmed through it a time or two, but I've never really taking the time to go in depth and read it. Which I kind of wish now that I'd actually gotten a textbook, but uh, if I remember right, the textbook was like $250 or maybe even more than that. And at the time, I really needed the money for other stuff. And at that time, I had a roommate who was also in the same class, and he had the textbook, and he offered to let me borrow it whenever I needed to. But I kind of just went off the notes I got from the lectures and stuff anyway, which didn't really help me because I struggled in that class. In the labs, all A's and B's. Exams, it was just memorizing stuff, and I've always sucked at doing that. So, yeah, the exams, I completely blew, I think, pretty much every one of them. Which that was one of the classes that was required for a multitude of different fields of study. So that class was very large. I think I'm trying to think how many students were in there, but it was I'm pretty sure it was over 100. It may have been over 200. I don't remember exactly now. But yeah, exams, I completely bombed on those. But like I say, in the labs, where it was smaller groups, that you got a little bit more, one-on-one with the professor, so you could, ask questions and stuff. Of course, it was a more practical thing, so you actually got to do stuff, and it wasn't, nothing to do with just memorizing facts and then vomiting them back out onto an exam. So, I did really well. Had all A's and B's in there. Because I've never been good at just memorizing shit and spitting it back out on the test, which by that time, let's see, that would have been around probably might have been around, it was probably either 2010 or 2011 by my recollection. So how old would I have been then? Let's see, 2004. I would have been 30, right? Yeah, I would have been 30. So 2010, I would have been 36. So I would have been 36, around 36, 37 at that time, I guess. Or maybe 35. Yeah, because my birthday's in March, so depending on what part of the year it was in. Which I'm thinking it would have had to have been Because when I went back for the last time, it was 2009. So, so it would have at least been my third semester. So it would have had to have been at least fall of 2010. So yeah, I would have been at least 36. Which, I mean, I still should have been fine at that age, but certain things do get a little bit harder to do when you're older. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, it's bullshit. You can do anything." Uh, Age affects you. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I mean, sure, you can be perfectly healthy, perfectly cognizant, you know, for even up into a ripe old age. Some people can, some people can't. And like I say, I was never, I mean, hell, even in high school, because I remember when I took history class in high school, I could have done well in any class I wanted to do well in when I was in grade school and high school. But at one point, I kind of gave up, said, fuck it. I don't really want to do it anymore, and I just didn't do the work. So, but now, history class, I didn't want to take it again, so I wanted to do well in that. But I ended up failing it anyway and had to redo it during summer school. And I managed to pass it during summer school, but of course, they kind of made it a little easier. Plus, things were a bit more rushed, so you didn't have to remember stuff for as long a period of time because it was, you know, accelerated. So I think those two factors kind of helped. Which I had to take a history class in college, but I got lucky with the professor that I had for history in college because the first day of class, he said to the whole class, he said, I don't care if you don't come to class. He said, as long as you come in on exam days and you take the exam, you will pass this class. And you know, he was true to his word. He graded on a curve so that as long as you took the exam, you would pass the class. And I think it was because he knew, because it was a community college, and I think he knew that, a lot of students really had no interest in history or, whatever. Because I'm sure he'd been doing that for a while and, kind of knew how things tended to go. So, and there was a lot of people that just had to take the class because it was a requirement, but it wasn't their field of study or whatever, so they really didn't have that much interest in it. Now I've always had a little bit of interest in history, but even with my interest in history, I still have a hard time just memorizing, facts and dates and names and all that shit. And I've always had trouble remembering people's names anyway. Um, I'm a little better at remember people's names if I see it written out, like if they're wearing a name tag or something when I first meet them. Uh, I tend to remember names a little better, or if I'm around them enough and hear other people calling them by their name a lot or whatever, I'll remember it a little better. But yeah, I've always been bad about that. Don't know why, just have been. But yeah, I was actually in grade school. I was actually invited to be in an accelerated program when I was in like fourth grade. And out of the entire grade school that I went to, there was only four students that were invited to be in that. Me and actually one of my best friends in the same grade as me, and then two other kids that were one or two grades ahead of. I think it was two grades ahead of us. Uh, they wanted to put us in accelerated classes and this and that, but I didn't get to. Just my mom wouldn't let me. She just wanted me to, you know, she didn't want me to grow up too fast. Want me to be a kid for as long as I could be a kid. And I mean, I don't, I don't hold anything against her for making a decision. I mean, she may have made the right decision. There's no way of knowing whether doing that could have been better for me or not. Though I can say that one of the reasons why I slacked off so much in later classes was because I felt like I was bored. Hello, Artistic 12. How are you? But yeah, I just kind of got bored and didn't really do much. Well, that's good to hear. Lower, turn on. You can see this thing chews through the trees pretty quick, which is also good. That's going pretty good so far. My internet's not acting up. I haven't dozed off. I'd call that a win. Yeah. It's probably going to take me another couple loads to get all these on this side. I see when I was. I'm from the south, you could say. So the southeastern United States. Yep, I enjoy it. Ah, cool. Well, I guess not. It's probably kind of hot down there. But no, I play. I play 3 other games right now. I play a different game each day. I stream 4 days a week right now, but I play this one every Monday, at least for now. But right now I'm playing this on Monday. I play Snow Runner on Tuesdays, No Man's Sky on Wednesdays, and Medieval Dynasty on Thursdays. And sometimes I might change out and do a different game or something once in a while. But for right now, that's my sort of regular schedule. Yep. Yeah, I mostly like simulators and driving games and build craft survival kind of games. Sure, go ahead. That harvester looks pretty dirty too. Oh well. Well, I feel like it's where it needs to be right now for the time being. Well, you got to be at least an affiliate to use emotes, uh, some of that stuff, and some of the stuff I don't like using, like overlays and stuff. I don't really like using those. I like to keep things a little more simple. Did I just pull out and run them? Oh well, it don't matter. They got brakes, they can stop. Oh, the reflections on the water's glitching out again. It does that sometimes on this map, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. I can easily overlook something like that because it's not really affecting gameplay at all. This is such a long drive and a slow ass tractor. Alright, I'll upgrade to a better tractor sooner or later. Maybe sooner actually, as much as I'm getting out of these wood chips. It's been quite lucrative so far. And maybe while this is unloading, I'll even look at some tractors here. Let's see, I was saying I might stick with John Deere on this map, right? And then maybe do New Holland. When if I do No Man's Land. It kind of screws with me sometimes since I play No Man's Sky, and one of my favorite maps on here is No Man's Land. I swap them around sometimes. Sure, I have a Discord server. There is a link to it on my About page, and there is a room there called Artist Showcase that I set up for artists to showcase their work if they want to. So feel free to go over there and post it. So let's see if I'm gonna stick with John Deere. Oh, nothing too outrageous. I don't think I need anything quite that big. So let's see, we got 326 to 458. That would probably be just about right. Could even be a little bit overkill. I'm not really interested in anything right now, but there's a possibility I will be in the future at some point. Let's see, what's the next one? 305 to 38. I wonder what. Uh, as far as horsepower and stuff goes, this one would probably be fine. My only concern with this one is, would it be heavy enough to pull some of the bigger stuff without losing traction or something? This one, I mean, this one's not a whole hell of a lot bigger, but looks like it's got a bit more heft to it anyway. It would be nice if it would tell you, like, which maybe is that what the 16? Yeah, 16.1. What's this one say? 11.5. Yeah, so this one should be basically 5 more ton. So even though this one might be a little bit overkill, that might be my best bet considering. All right, well, let's first check out here. Ah, alert didn't follow through. But thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Let's see. I actually probably won't need. Yeah, might as well go with it though. Uh, looks like that. Let's do. I, I, I've never seen a fucking John Deere in the U.S. with that kind of shit hanging off of it. So I don't know. 3 point for wait, yeah, I want 3 point for sure. So it looks like under this configuration it would be 351,000. I'm at 215. But that tractor should definitely be big enough for pretty much anything I want to do. Of course, I might hang on to this one and just keep using it for this setup right here. And then just use the other one to do all of the field work and stuff. Of course, now I probably would. I was going to do that. I would need one a little bit smaller that I could put a front loader on, unless I use something totally different. Because I could also get a telehandler maybe. But of course, I really won't need that till I get the cows, because I'll need something to move silage and whatever with. Of course, it also depends on what kind of fermenting silo I get and stuff too, because it could be that I get one that I can load and unload with just a regular trailer. I don't know. We'll worry about all that when I get there. But I think that one for, what did I say, 351? Yeah, that should be plenty big enough to drag about any piece of equipment I'm going to be using. Because I probably won't. So I think these are actually, these might be the only fields on here. Matter of fact, I kind of think they are. Let me check the map right quick, because yep, they are the only fields. But to be perfectly honest with you, these fields, I mean, this one here and this one here might be a little small. And this one might be, you know, a little small compared to some of the others. But, I mean, they're fairly large fields. So, I don't think I would need anything other than those. Which, this is kind of, I mean, there's a few other sort of flat areas, but none that are quite as big. So I may not need any more than that, which even if I was to create one, it probably wouldn't be any bigger than any of these anyway. So yeah, that, I don't see why that tractor wouldn't do the job. And then, like I say, I might hang on to this tractor and just leave this wood miser, whatever the fuck it's called, it and the trailer both, just leave them hooked to this thing permanently. And that could be its job from now on. And like I say, I'll need something else once I get the cattle going, possibly. But like I say, yeah, it's going to be a while down the road, so we'll see when we get there. Because I'm not sure if I've even got something like a telehandler available in a John Deere. But it doesn't have to strictly be that. I was just figuring I'd keep with that. I'm going to pause it here, and I'm going to take a quick outhouse break, and I will be right back. I just happened to think when I got up, 'cause I think it was week before last, when my leg got to hurting. Not my knee, but my actual leg, because I sat for too long. And it just occurred to me when I got up to go to the bathroom just now that probably the reason why I don't really think about needing to get up every couple hours and stretch my legs or whatever is because oftentimes I'm getting up to go to the bathroom often anyway. Because that one medicine I take for diabetes tends to make me pee a lot. Because basically what it does is cause me to pass out any excess blood sugar through my urine. Of course, I'm also sitting here, you know, drinking quite a lot of tea. And then before that, I've been drinking coffee all morning, as I normally do. I'm one of those people who's got to always have something close by to drink. And because I really can't stand to drink plain water, it's always either coffee or tea. And I know I should drink more plain water, but I don't. Because I ain't drinking bottled water. Because for one, the shit's expensive. Two, I don't trust what's in the shit. And if I drink tap water, I'd probably ended up with kidney stones by now. 'Cause my tap water's got quite a lot of limestone in it. Because it kind of wreaks havoc on faucets, drip coffee makers, my tea kettle. And I never got a water softener because those fucking things are expensive too. And then it's not just a one-time expense either. You got to maintain those things and change the salt or whatever the hell that's in it out every now and then. And it's really not that big a deal for me since I don't really drink water anyway. The only time I want water as if I'm like really super thirsty. If I've been like sweating a lot or something sometimes. Other than that, I gotta have something that's got a little flavor to it. You know what I mean? Know what I mean, Vern? I mean, it might be a pain in the ass if I used a drip coffee maker because it's really hard on drip coffee makers. But I don't. I use a percolator, which I think makes better coffee anyway. And then as far as build up on the faucets, all I got to do is maybe every couple of months to, well, probably 3 months, sometimes even longer. Depends. I just take the thing off of the faucet and let it sit in some white vinegar overnight. Brush it off with a cleaning brush the next morning, good to go. Which actually, when I got in the kitchen, I only even had to soak it because it's plastic. It don't stick to plastic very well. It sticks to metal pretty damn good though. Because the one in the bathroom is metal. That one I usually soak overnight. And I've tried a lot of the store bought shit that's supposed to get rid of limestone buildup on stuff, and none of it works as good as white vinegar. I get bottles of distilled white vinegar. It's cheap and works perfect. Sure, it might smell a little bit, but I ain't sitting there sniffing it any damn way. That can be a pain for a little bit if you're using it to clean a drip coffee pot though, because when it gets hot, it stinks the whole house up. But still, you only got to put up with that for like an hour or two, and then the smell's gone. So, but like I say, I use percolator anyway. So I don't give a shit. We'll say the only thing that does concern me a little bit. I probably shouldn't even mention it. I might fucking jinx myself or something. So I'll let that lie. Like the old saying, let sleeping dogs lie. Because if you wake them up, it might bite your balls off. That's not actually part of the saying. The saying is just let sleeping dogs lie. Some of you may have heard it, some maybe not. I just added the extra bit about it biting your balls off. Because at the time it kind of sounded funny in my head. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. But it's out there in the ether now, so whatever. That's kind of my only bit of a gripe about this map is that there's so many fucking bushes on it. And sure, it's not really all that big of a deal, but you know, I don't like seeing the bushes everywhere. There's a few here and there. Doesn't bother me, but when there's a lot of them, it triggers me a little bit. I like a little bit cleaner look. It's like it being mostly grass. Which is kind of another reason why, in a lot of ways, I prefer 17 and 19 over 22. Is that on both 17 and 19, you could have areas where it was just all grass. There was no weeds, no bushes, none of that shit. It had a nice sort of clean look to it. Which the thing that sucked about 17 was there was no terrain edit tool. So if there was an area on the map that had bushes and weeds and shit like that on it, unless you could either plow it up and plant grass on it, or I think there was a mod you could use that would kind of erase the thing, but basically it would make it look like the natural grass and there would be no weeds or bushes or anything. But otherwise you was kind of stuck with whatever was there. And then 19 came out with the editing terrain edit tool, and you could just basically paint everything in grass that you wanted to. So which there used to be a shit ton of bushes all over the well, you can see a bunch of them over there. It was like that, and all in here, over behind where the animal pens used to be, down through here. I mean, it was kind of like that in most places. But to help get rid of excess money to kind of work it out even, as if I'd sold everything on the last map, moved to this one and bought land and stuff, it kind of worked out because I was able to use that since it does. See, on 19, I don't know. I was thinking on 19 it didn't cost you anything to use the terrain edit tool, but maybe it did now that I'm thinking about it. Either way, I know for damn sure it does on here, so I was kind of using that to get rid of the massive excess of bushes. Fuck. Landscape. See, this one does it separate. On the other one, it didn't. See, on 19, you could go into paint and pick grass and use that paint tool, and it would do the green, the flat green bit on the ground, plus it would actually put the grass plants there and they would grow. I think they would. Oh, fuck it. I can't remember. But on here, it's separate. Here, you do the painting and the plants separate. So what I'll do is that right there, and that gets rid of the bush. It cost me just a tad bit of coin, but I'd rather spend that little bit of coin and get rid of that fucking annoying ass bush. But anyway, yeah, to work out the money thing, that's what I used. I used the paint tool and got rid of a lot of the fucking bushes around here. And that took up most of the money that I kind of needed to get rid of to work things out the way I wanted to. Wasn't perfect, didn't get it exactly where I wanted to, but close enough for fucking government work. Which honestly ain't saying much. Well, that takes care of everything alongside. Of course, I do probably want to get at least some of that over there as well, but I'm going to start over here now. And I'm going to start right here. And of course, everything I'm going to basically cut a straight line back to where the hill starts. And then everything between here and the house, I'm going to just leave. And yes, I know I'm not going in a straight line, but I'm going to try to get a little more efficiency out of this by getting what I can as I go while still going in a relatively straight line, relatively speaking. Which if I upgrade to a bigger tractor, I mean, I can still use the smaller equipment for a while, but pretty quick I'd start upgrading equipment to make use of the bigger tractor. But we can do it gradually, whatever. I mean, I got plenty of time before I need to plant soybean anyway, so. And I've got, what, 3 days per month? That's what I got it set at, I think. I don't remember, so. Yeah. Whatever. I'm too tired to fucking do math in my head right now. As you can hear me fucking yell. And I can tell you probably whenever I get done streaming, I'm probably going to go straight to fucking bed. I might I might wait maybe as long as 20 or 30 minutes. Because it's a bit warm today, so I might, give it time to turn my AC on in there and let it get cool enough in there for me to sleep comfortably and not sweat my entire ass off while I sleep. But yeah, probably no more than 30 minutes after I decide to end stream today, my happy ass will be in the fucking bed. Unless for some weird fucking reason I all of a sudden have another attack of insomnia, which is rare for it to happen that much, but it has. It has happened. To where when I finally get sleepy and get, in a position where I can actually go to bed and sleep, and sometimes, even if I've been awake for over 24 hours, go in there and lay down for some fucking reason, I'll wake right the fuck up. Drives me nuts too. And it's only been like it for past couple of years, I guess, 2 or 3 maybe, that I've had so much trouble sleeping because damn sure didn't have that much trouble in the past. Hell, when I was young, my problem was I probably slept too much. Because it was quite common for me to sleep 10, 12 hours at a time when I was younger. Of course, I don't really like sleeping that long these days because I sleep on my side, and if I sleep too long, I wake up my fucking shoulder killing me. Which is weird because I also tend to, toss and turn quite a bit in my sleep. Yet somehow, if I sleep too long, I wake up my damn shoulder killing me, sleeping on it. Which another problem I've always had is I've got fairly broad shoulders. Because my shoulders, I've found out when I was remodeling my bathroom years ago that my shoulders are 24 inches wide. Because that's how wide my bathroom door is. And when I was redoing the bathroom, I had the door off, so it was just the frame because it replaced the door and everything. And I could walk through it, and my shoulders would brush both sides of the door frame as I walked through it. So that's how I know my shoulders is 24 inches. So yeah, that often creates problems as well. There's too many times I woke up with neck cramps in the side of my neck. Well, the left side of my neck because I tend to sleep on my right side. And then if I don't take care of that right quick, that ends up turning into a fucking migraine headache. How the fuck all that shit works, I don't fucking know. Which I know the reason why my neck hurts is sleeping on my side because the pillow, my head at a weird angle because the pillow don't, you know, keep my neck straight. Which way I get around that is I turn my pillow up on its side. And most of the time that works, but sometimes since I move around so much, it'll kind of move out of the way, and I still end up waking up with a damn neck crank. Oh, I need to trim my damn face jungle. Just now that I think about it, with my hair and the jungle on my face that I've been rocking for years now, I would not be out of place on something like Duck Dynasty. My beard won't get quite that long, but it's still pretty fucking long. I always wanted to grow it that long. I always kind of wanted to try growing it like ZZ Top long, like 80s fucking ZZ Top long. But it just won't do it. Problem is when it starts getting long, it gets a bit curly, which I can usually comb it out and it straightens it up some, but it gets to a certain length and that's it. And I've had long hair since I was like 14. I cut it off once. I cut it short when I was 20, maybe, for a job. The fucking job lasted 2 weeks. I mean, nope, not doing that again, and I haven't. And it's kept me from getting a couple of jobs. But I stuck to my principles. And it's a good thing I did because I know for a fact that 2 of the jobs I got turned down for because I had long hair, within a year of that happening, one company changed hands and they replaced everybody. The other company just went out of business. And everybody had to find new jobs anyway. Because the guy that owned it got out of that business and went into a whole different business. There's a little sliver there. Sneaky little shit. I got your ass though. Now to think about it, was there a little sliver left of the other one? But sometimes it'll do that on like the the biggest of the trees. I think it is sometimes on certain size trees. It'll do that sometimes. It leaves like a tiny sliver of a wedge. That time it looks like it got it all. Oh, I'm full anyway. Got to remember to pay attention to that. So I like having trees around the house. I used to have more trees around my house, but unfortunately, quite a few of them is gone. These, let's see, there was one, two, three, at least three, maybe four that just died. And there was two on separate occasions, many years apart, that got blown over during storms. Because the first one damn near damaged the house when it came down. The very top limb, it was a big ass bull pine, and the very top limbs were brushing against the windows in the front of the living room. But luckily, it didn't. Hell, it didn't even dent the gutter. I don't think. So that was lucky, because it could have really fucked the house up pretty bad if it. But it just happened to land at just a perfect angle so that it didn't. It just barely brushed up against the house. And then the other one, the second one that fell years later, it fell towards it went the other way. So, which is also lucky because it was a very tall tree and it was a locust. So yeah, there's at least probably 6 trees that used to be in the yard that ain't there no more. And if I hadn't put my foot down, there's another one that would have been cut down. There's people that trim along a power line stuff, they just wanted to cut it down because they didn't want that to come back. And I said, nope, you ain't cutting that fucking tree down. Which hellfire, that's been over 10 years ago, I think. I guess where my slow poking ass has been going back and forth with this tractor on these wood chips, I've backed the cars up enough that now they're all bunched up together. It can be good or bad depending on the situation. It's good for when I'm not wanting anybody to fuck with me out here on the road. But it's bad when I need to pull out and they all come through at one fucking time. And you know what? Actually, let me see. I should be able to do it. If I can find the right fucking traffic off. I didn't really want to do that for the stream save, but considering there's just one main road on this map, there's quite a few cars on it at quite a regular interval. And I'm in a fucking tractor that won't do no more than 20 mile an hour, and they're going quite a bit faster. It just makes sense. Just turn it off. And I can tell you, living out in the country, of course, these days, yeah, you might see that much fucking traffic on because it ain't quite as country as it used to be out here in the country. But yeah, a lot of times out, if you're as far out in the country as this place is, you ain't gonna see that much damn traffic on the road unless it's the only fucking road between two much larger areas that aren't that far away, which is highly unlikely. Possible, but unlikely. Anyway, it don't matter. Fucking, I'm turning the fucking traffic off. So I don't want to fucking deal with it. It's been a bit of a pain in the old arse. I could have swore I just saw something. I guess it's just a trick of the light or something because it was in the corner of my eye. I mean, shit, I ain't slept since yesterday morning either, so could be playing tricks on me. I remember when I was a teenager, I did one time during the summer. Pretty much forced myself to stay up just to see how long I could do it. And I was about a weekend and started hallucinating. I thought, yeah, it's time my happy ass goes to bed. And it wasn't anything, you know, super weird or anything like that. But I was seeing critters in areas that, while you might see a critter now and then, you wouldn't see as many critters as I saw on that regular interval. So I was like, nah. Because the first couple times I had, and I was like, oh, Okay, that happens. But it wasn't, really out of the ordinary. But after about the third time, I was like, nah, something ain't right here. Then after the fourth and fifth time, I was like, no, nope, I need to go to fucking bed. Because I'm starting to see shit that ain't there. And that's what I did, and I think I slept for like a day and a half. Which I'm surprised I didn't sleep longer than that, because, like I say, back in it was pretty normal for me to sleep 10 to 12 hours. And it was usually during the day. Like I said, I've pretty much always been nocturnal. I even remember my mom telling me on a couple occasions that even as a baby, pretty much right after she brought me home, I would pretty much sleep all day and be up crying all night. That's the way she put it. And even now, if I were to get on a schedule to where I was sleeping during the day and up during the night, I would probably actually have a lot easier time maintaining that sleep schedule. Might even have an easier time sleeping. I don't know. But the problem with that is you can't. There's a lot of shit you can't get done at night, but you can get done during the day. And even though there's a lot of stuff I ain't capable of doing anymore, still it's nice to have some sunlight to be able to see what the fuck I'm doing on the rare occasions that I am able to at least do a little something. There's probably some decorative cars or something I could place over there by those cabins, make it look like somebody's renting them out and parked over there. If I get an excess of money, I might do that. Or I might just do it anyway, just for the hell of it. 'Cause I think 19 had a few decorative items that you could place, but there really wasn't that many of them. But there were some mods where you could place all kind of cool shit. So I never really got into modding because, up till recently I pretty much played on PlayStation and that was it. Because I didn't really have a computer capable of playing much other than like fucking solitaire or some simple game that didn't take a lot of resources to play. And, a lot of games, even if they have tons of mods on PC, they don't have any on PlayStation because it works different. But as which 17, I don't remember now if FS17 had mods available on PlayStation. I know 19 did because I used a shit ton of them. But I think that's why I never really thought much about modding games except for like Farming Simulator. Because I don't remember any other games that I played having mods, but no, SnowRunner did. But I've gotten a little more into it on PC, but some of the games I still don't mod because either one, it's a little bit over my head as to how to mod them, and two, I know how a lot of times mods can basically break games, and I don't want to deal with that bullshit. I've got like a couple mods on 7 days. There were some others I wanted to do, but I never could get them to work. I'm not sure why. I'm sure it's something I'm not doing right, but I haven't been able to find good enough explanation on the interwebs as to what I'm doing wrong and how to correct it. So I just kind of gave up on it. But yeah, I got a shit ton of mods for this. Got some for SnowRunner. Got some on American Truck Simulator. Got quite a few on it, actually. I think. Of course, I think last time I played that, I turned about half of them off because there was an update that didn't work anymore. They might have been updated since then. I don't know. It's been a little while since I played that, really. Couple months, 2 or 3 months, maybe. Which I looked just out of curiosity mainly to see if there were mods for No Man's Sky, and I did find a few, but none of them looked like they really did anything that would make me want to start modding that game too. Which the main reason why I made why I mod Farming Simulator is just to add a bunch more toys to play with, and sometimes maps, like this map, for example. Of course, Farming Simulator has, added a few more choices and options with each iteration of it. Because I remember feeling like there was a bit of a lack of stuff on like FS15 as far as machinery and shit go. I still love playing the game. Still had probably thousands of hours into it. Oh shit. Starting to have another yawning fit again. I'm starting to feel a bit drowsy too. Yeah, unfortunately, if I ain't feeling quite drowsy, it really don't do me much good to go to bed, because I got enough to buy that tractor now, I guess. I think. I don't remember now how much I said it was. I'm thinking it was 2 something, but no, it was just over 3. What upgrade to shit. Alright. I'll make sure to bank a little more before I go buying that new tractor then. Because I think I kind of want to go ahead and get it. I'm going to start using it, but I don't know, we'll see, because actually it's almost 5, so I've been at it almost 4 hours. And since I'm starting to feel drowsy again, I think now would be a good time to stop and take my happy, sleep deprived ass to bed. Try to actually get some rest. Go ahead and put this out there. Insomnia fucking sucks. But yeah, I think I'll call it here. I think it's a good stopping point. But before I go, thanks everybody for coming by, hanging out, watching. Thanks everybody for the follows. I really do appreciate it. And I hope y'all have a good one. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place. And we'll do some mudding and what would you call it? I don't know. I ain't gonna think about it. But yeah, we'll be playing SnowRunner. Yeah. So take care And let's see, let me make sure I save this while I'm thinking of it. Yeah. So take care and have a good one, y'all.